In today's video, I take you on a detailed walk around of our Overland Toyota Tundra that we built to handle anything on-road and sacrifice nothing in off-road performance. Let's go. So up here, this is a DeMello Off-Road 3rd Gen Tundra Baja style bumper with a Baja loop added. It has really great approach angle clearance. As you can see, this is very thin. It's probably about 3 inches here. The shackle mounts are stout. They're about a 1/2 inch steel, and they run all the way the length back to the frame and are connected directly to the frame. So when we do pull winch or we pull off these shackle mounts, they're strong enough to hold the entire truck. In the cutouts, we have Baja Design Squadron Sports, which give us more than enough throw on dark trails at night. Over here, we have the Seal Gen 2 12.5 RS come-up winch with synthetic line, and it comes with cone brake system that's outside of the drum. A wireless remote, and it also comes with a remote that we can plug in. For us on this bumper, we had to mount the winch controller on the outside because there wasn't enough room on the inside to fit the winch and the controller, and then we would have had to pop the hood every time we wanted to use the controller because it'd be mounted behind the grill. And it's really served us well being on the top for ease of access and quick use. Over here we have the Factor 55 Flat Link E, which I prefer a lot more than the standard hook, and the Flat Link has a higher braking strength than the hook would. We also put a rope guard on there to protect the front of the rope from fraying or collecting damage on the trail. We're going to go ahead and put a Baja Designs S8 30-inch light in here relatively soon. The one thing that I didn't really like about the bumper is down here where you mount the winch, there's only 2 holes, so you only have access to the front 2 winch mounting bolts. The back bolts are covered up, so you have to actually have the whole bumper off if you want to tighten any of the winch mount bolts in the back side. I think that's just splitting hairs. Overall, it's been a great bumper. It's been super tough. It's handled multiple winches and multiple recoveries with the shackle points. So there's not much else I would change about it, but I think that's simple enough that they can work on. Thank you so much for spending time with us today. If you found something valuable so far, please go ahead and tap the like button. And under the hood, we have normal stuff. See, right here we have our Switch Pro 9100, which connects a whole bunch of stuff inside the cab. And the great thing about it is that it's run with 1 wire through the cab instead of having to run 7 or 8 wires in the cab for the switches. And then over here, it's seamlessly connected to the ARB CKMA12, which runs our lockers. In here, we have a K&N air filter to give us better flow. And also connected to the engine is this Safari snorkel. So people talk to me about the snorkel all the time. They say, have you used it? Do you need it? Why do you need it? Well, we use the snorkel because A, it got our intake about 6.5 foot off the ground. In a Tundra, the air intake comes directly behind this front fender. So we have peace of mind now that we're not going to be sucking any water into our engine. And I kind of just like the look of it. Up front here, we have the 17-inch Icon alloy rebound wheels with a 25mm offset, paired with a 37 by 12.5 Nitto ridge grapplers. So far, we found these ridge grapplers work exceptional in the mud and snow, and they also provide great on-road performance without being too loud. We had to put the TRD Pro sway bar back on the truck once we have the camper on. Starting from the top and going down, we have MCM Fab Uniball upper control arms with ADS Racing Shock 2.5-inch coilovers with compression adjusters and 700-pound iBox springs. Sorry for the camera angle, trying to get as good as I can. As you can see, that red knob right there, that's the compression adjuster, and we have approximately 25 levels of compression adjustment that we can provide, which really makes a difference when we're running heavier loads or on highway versus off highway. Our coilovers are currently set to give us about 3.75 inches of lift. The ADS equipment has worked phenomenally and flawlessly, as well with the MCM Fab upper control arms. Matthew really knows what he's doing. Also up front, we have the Nitro 5.29 gears, ARB air locker, the ARB dip breather relocation kit, and the RCI aluminum front and transfer skid with a steel fuel tank skid and steel rear diff skid. Hey guys, if there's anything that you'd like to see me go more in detail on, please let me know in the comments down below, and I look forward to making the next video about your questions. Up front we have the CBI A-pillar mount, which holds the Midland 3 dB gain ghost antenna. I have one for the other side too when we get ditch lights on here, but we're gonna go with the Baja Designs S2s because we like the small package while providing the light that we're gonna need. Up top here we have the Prinsu Tundra Crew Max roof rack, fully aluminum so it doesn't rust or anything like that. I love it because it's not only reduced the road noise that we would have from hitting the front of that, it also pushes some of the air up and tries to get over the top of the camper, so I believe it actually gives us better gas mileage, plus it's able to hold a couple cool tools. Right here we have a Wildland Forest Service shovel. It's a shovel that we use at work fighting forest fires, and they're built tough. They can be sharpened and beat and just destroyed and still withstand years and years of fire service, so I thought they'd be perfect for what we have. Over there we have our 4 Max Tracks with Max Tracks holders from CBI Offroad. And then up here we have our quick fist clamps. They allow us to basically quickly clamp and unclamp all of the accessories that we need. The one thing that I don't really like about the CBI roof rack, when the channels get water in them, they don't drain naturally. You just need to drill holes on each side of the channel, but it's still like something that could have been put into the design of it so you don't have to drill holes. Also, you're gonna notice this ARB awning. It just allows us to have more space and more camping space on the truck, and it also has an annex room that goes to it. And then here we have our folding CB mount from Rhino Rack. This thing is the most stout that I've been able to find, and I've tested about 4 of them, and they all failed at one point or another. This is the WeBoost Drive Fleet OTR antenna, which gives us the most power from a boosting system, plus gives us the best antenna reach possible. So right here we have the white knuckle off-road slider. As you can see, it goes from well to well, and it gives us enough clearance that when we do slide on rocks, we are not hitting the boxes on the tray itself, but instead sliding on the full length of the slider, which we have done several times. Also, this kick out back here is very key because we were on a rock up in Siskiyou County, and we were pushing up against the rock with the slider, and this kick out was just enough to give us clearance to not bang up the tray. So it's really saved our bacon a few times. If you're looking for sliders, white knuckle makes fantastic sliders. All right guys, let's head inside. One of the first things you'll notice here is our Switch Pros SP9100. We have our air, our rear locker, front locker, and then we have our WeBoost, which we can toggle on and off, and we can also leave it on when the truck is off. And it has a low battery setting on this controller itself. So if the battery gets too low, it just turns off instead of sucking the battery dry. We also have our fridge hardwired in here, so we can toggle that on and off and leave it running all night if we do need to, and it just sips the juice. Back behind here you'll see our Midland MXT 115, which is a 15-watt GMRS radio, or two-way radio as probably most of us know it by. And up here we have our cord, and we always keep our two-way radio ready to go just in case friends need radios, and so we keep 2 spare handhelds, and we can talk back and forth, or when Summer's spotting for me or when I'm spotting for her, it's easy communication back and forth with a two-way radio instead of trying to holler at each other. Down here we have our bear spray, just in case, because you never know when you're going to need bear spray. Up here we have our Honda Garage tablet mount, and then we have our unholy vent ring mounts that are also from Honda Garage, as well as a ram mount that holds this in place. Let's take this off. Easy. So we have 2 unholy vent ring holders, which are the Tacoma ones, but they work perfect for these 3rd gen Tundras with the round vent. Behind all that, you'll see our transmitter for our WeBoost. And one of the biggest mistakes that I see people making with the WeBoost system itself is that they're too far away from the transmitter. Under all this stuff is the ICS Fab dash mount. We also got the base mount plate, so it goes under the dash mount on the inside, and it just provides a little more stability for off-road use. Although you do have to drill through your dash, it holds incredibly well and we haven't had any troubles with it popping loose or fracturing any of the plastic underneath. And down on the floor we have our Husky liners. We went with the Husky kit. They're really supple and comfortable, and they've worked out really well. We've had them for about 2 years now, and I can't say enough good stuff about the Huskies. In the door I keep my mechanics gloves, winch controller, and Survivor Streamlight. In the back here you're going to find a power inverter that we use occasionally when charging electronics. Here we have our 2 Midland handhelds that we take with us everywhere. And usually there's a car seat right here in the back. I think it's probably pretty standard for most people to carry some kind of tool complement with them. Well, here we have our winch remote controller, our dampener, winch recovery kit. This is our homemade power tank, and a spare CV axle. We have our safe jack right here, which is a 6-ton safe jack. We've used it a few times out on the trail, and it's a jack that we have to use because the stock jack won't lift the tires off the ground to actually replace the tire on the trail. Right here is where you can see the fridge got hardwired through the Switch Pro to the battery. The seat covers themselves are a Cover King brand in neoprene. So they're just wetsuit material. So in the rear we have all ADS shocks. The first one's a 2.5-inch triple bypass. The second is a 2.125-inch bump stop. And the last is a 2.5-inch emulsion shock, or like I'll call it, an air shock. You can use 65 to 500 PSI with 900 pounds of sprung corner weight with an MCM Fab custom mount. This right here, that's the MCM Fab custom mount that I'm talking about. It's a tower that goes across the whole length. And if there's anything else that you'd like to know, please leave me a comment down below and I'll get back to you as soon as I can. I'd love to make the next video about your questions. Then we have a Deaver custom leaf pack, which we call the Everest pack because it had to carry a ton of weight. This is a custom X-brace that goes where spare tire carrier goes. And this is to help reduce frame twisting when we're going through the crazies off-road. Because carrying 2,100 pounds for a half-ton truck is no easy feat, but that's how we did it. Mounted, we have a full 35-inch spare. The tire is more of a just in case we can't repair our current tire on the trail with our tire repair kit. And this stone cold beauty right here is the Norweld Deluxe Weekender tray. We have 4 compartments, and the tray also includes a rear pullout. And a 40-liter tank under midship, so we have water. One of the cool parts about this tray is that these have weather stripping all around, and over all the travels that we've been on, they've been completely weather tight. Back here I keep my chainsaw, and I also keep these. These are MSR fuel bottles, and they're a lifesaver. I carry one that has bar oil and one that has fuel in it. With the chainsaw I have a pair of chaps. Over in this container I carry a medical kit. This is where I keep my Arab supplies, extra gloves, and tent spikes. This right here is a nitrogen tank to adjust our nitrogen shocks on the trail if we need to, and a couple of fittings for the DIY power tank. In this one we keep our soap, some hand towels, our drop-in toilet cleaners for the camper. Having a 40-liter tank on here really allows us the time and the opportunity to wash our hands regularly. Well, with the original filler neck that was on here, that came with the tray, the fuel didn't flow through it well enough to actually stand at the pump and hold it and set it and go. You actually had to sit here holding it by hand and then at a weird angle. And so we filled the tank like that for about 6 months until I just couldn't take it anymore. And I called Norweld up and I said, hey guys, there's something wrong with this filler neck. Can you help me out? So they sent me out this new filler neck, and once I installed it, it's worked flawlessly since. As you can see here, this black is not something that you can get from the Norweld factory. This is all custom Raptor liner that I did. So I initially took the tray off the truck, had it sandblasted, then we used acid etch primer to coat the entire tray, and then we coated on top of the acid etch primer with the Raptor liner. It's turned out phenomenally, it's been extremely durable, and I just love the way it looks. All right, well that's it. That was a completely detailed walkthrough of our 2018 Overland Tundra. I hope you've enjoyed. Live unbound, always explore, family forever. Howl at you later.